Okay guys, so to make our mandala, what I have is I have a square piece of paper. Square meaning it's 12 inches this way, 12 inches this way. Doesn't have to be 12 inches, it could be 8 inches, 8 inches, but it needs to be the same all the way around. It needs to be a square because that mandala is going to be circular shape, meaning it's the same on all sides. So we're going to start with a square piece of paper. And then I've cut up a bunch of smaller square pieces of paper. Mine are 3 inches by 3 inches. Doesn't matter what size yours are. They just need to be smaller than your original. So squares on top of squares on top of squares. So to start, I'm going to use a ruler and I'm going to divide my square into 4 quadrants. So depending on how long your square is, so mine is 12 inches, I'm going to find the middle of 12 inches here, which would be 6 inches, and I'm just going to mark that on my paper. Now notice, I have my paper start at the 0, not at where the ruler starts, okay? So start at where it measures, so I mark 6 inches. I'm going to come down to the bottom and I'm going to do that again. Line it up with the 0. Hopefully you can see that. Line it up with the 0. Mark the 6. Now I can make a straight line. Now, this does not have to be a dark line, just a line. It will end up getting covered up anyways. So then I'm just going to turn my paper and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Line my ruler up with the 0, mark the middle. So since mine is 12 inches long, I'm marking the 6. If yours was 8 inches long, well, you would be marking the 4. So whatever number is half of the total length of paper. So once I've got my 2 marks, I'm going to line up my ruler. The reason why I make 2 marks on my paper is so that I can get a straight line. Because if I only do it once, well, my ruler might be off a little bit. This makes me have a perfectly straight line down the middle. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 quadrants. So what I'm going to do with all these papers is I'm going to be folding them. I call this a dart fold because it looks like a dart. So I'm going to fold this paper in half as best I can by lining up the corners, and then I don't press the crease until I like what I did. So paper's folded in half. Then I'm going to take one flap and I'm going to fold it all the way back so that it is even with the edge right there, and then I fold. Okay, so I made a triangle. But the important thing is I have to fold it so that it goes all the way back to this edge. If I folded it too short, so for example, if I did this, did it go all the way to the edge? No, that's not right. So I need to pull it all the way back to the edge. And then I crease. So I do that on both sides. Okay, so it kind of looks like a dart. So that's why I call it a dart fold. Okay, so you'll see you've made a square at the bottom of your square. Now you get to take your dart fold and you're going to put it somewhere on your paper. You can either line it up perfectly with a quadrant or you can put it directly on top of that quadrant line. It doesn't matter, but whatever you do in one quadrant, you're going to do in the other 4 so that they're going to match. So to put this on, I'm just going to take a glue stick and I'm going to kind of hold this in my hands like this so that I can get this really well. And then wherever I want, I'm going to stick. I think I want to do mine in between. And you're going to press and hold and you can kind of pop that open a bit. Okay. So I've got this cool little 3-dimensional piece of paper that's sticking up here. So I'm just going to complete the process. So you're always going to have 4 that match. So I'll have one here, 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 and here. And I'm gonna keep building as I go out, which you'll see. All right, so on my example here, I've put one in each quadrant. Whatever I did in one quadrant, I put it in the same location in the other quadrant. You can either do 4 of the same color, or you can do 2 and 2. You can't do 4 of the different colors because then it's not balanced. But if it's 2 and 2, then your work is still balanced. So you can choose how you want to do that. Now, to continue adding. So I've folded kind of a bunch, and I'm going to kind of show you, like, you can stick them on top of each other like this. You can stick folds on top of each other and glue them down like that. You can also stick folds inside of other folds and just slide them in, and they sit right on top of each other nicely. So like that. Let me get it in there. Okay, so you're just gonna kind of keep building. You could even go from the corners and work your way in, okay? It's really up to you. The only rule you have to follow is wherever you put something in one quadrant, you do it in all 4 of the quadrants. Again, your colors can completely match, or you can split them 2 and 2 so that there's still balance on your mandala.